So let's take a look at what we're going to do here. We are going to be using an embedded web server. We're going to be building an embedded web server. And let's understand technically what we're doing. So number one, we've got a router. We've got a home multifunction device. This is our internet connection. And over here is where Jose is with his laptop. He is at work this is going to be the WAN. And it could be, we could say this is also the internet. Now, on our multifunction device, we have switches that we could connect wired connections, but we also have antennas where we can connect what? Wireless devices. And so in the case of our repurposed Android phone, what we're going to do we're going to install an app onto the old Android phone that has a camera. And the app is going to provide a couple resources. One, this is the operating system, this is the Android. And the app is going to run in the user space. And a couple things are going to happen. One is going to have a web server that responds to HTTP, some IP address at port 8080. This is very good because this is a security feature so that our web server is not broadcasting video content on the expected port of what? 80. So most web servers are always going to serve files, serve content on port 80. So because this is a camera inside your home, one element of security is we're not going to use the expected HTTP port. Okay? So anytime you want to connect to the web browser on this Android phone, you will never use HTTP some IP address because that would assume port 80. We must use the colon and indicate we're going to be using another port. Okay? My advice is if you're going to set this up in your home, go into the software, and I'll show you this later, and change it to something bizarre. 1951, just so that it's as far away from the normal as possible. That gives an extra layer of security because you don't want people. You want just Craig and his family, yes. So you have to think about these things as you're doing it. So you're going to add the app to the phone. The app will automatically take over your camera, and you can choose either the forward-facing camera or the rear-facing camera, and I'll show you, it gives you a wealth of options. Now, one of the things that we're going to do with this app is we are going to choose the option as run in background. This is going to be very important. So one of the options that we're going to tell the app is we're going to run the app in the background so the screen can be black. All you have to do is plug the phone into a charger, put it in a cradle. The phone can literally be off. It looks like it's off. And yet it's running the web server and it's running the video camera. So it's low powered, low energy drain, but you do have to have it powered up all the time. Okay? But we're running it in blank mode, so it doesn't require any part of the screen. So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to run the app in background mode. When we run the app, it's going to tell us the IP address that it gets from what? This has got a DHCP server.
And the multifunction device.
Right. And when we run the app, it will tell us what IP address it got from what?
The multifunction device.
Yeah, so it's going to tell us, so in this case, this is 192.168.1.115. And we know
8080.
if we're going to get to the web server or the video stream, we must do what? Colon 8080. So that's kind of what we're doing. And then we're going to connect the webcam via wireless to our what? Either our 2.4 or our, yes? And usually because it's an old repurposed Android phone, it's only going to have 2.4 if you're lucky, unless you have a brand new old repurposed Android phone. So in most cases, you're going to have to connect it to your 2.4. So once you connect it to this, it's going to pull a local IP address. It's going to run a web server that will stream, listen, video and audio. Now, depending on the Android phone, if you have sensors, it can do motion detection. If your phone has low sensitivity, the camera is capable, you can even have night vision.
Wow.
Okay? So it depends on how old, okay? When you have one of these, this is just before the dinosaurs. So about the only thing it has is a camera, okay, if you're lucky. All right, everybody okay with that? Now, what we must do is we must set up our firewall is right here. And so what I must do is put in a port forward table. And I'm going to say, when you come to the IP address of my what?
Multifunction device.
What is, so that's, that in this case,
Your internet provider.
I need to know the IP address of this connection, yes? Remember, I hammer this and hammer this and hammer this. So in this case, the IP address that I'm using on this is 10.29.140. Thank you.
131.
135, I'm sorry. 135. That's the IP address that my WAN connection, you've got to know what that IP address is. If you don't know what that IP address, you can't get in. In other words, there's no way Jose is going to be able to spy on his kids. Okay? If he doesn't know the IP address of his WAN connection. Now, in his port forward table, he's going to say, when someone comes to this IP address and probes port what?
8080.
Then I'm going to send him to what IP address?
192.168.1.115. 115.
And what port?
8080.
Okay. Everybody there, technically.
Yes.
All right. So let's go look at it.
That's their screen, but it doesn't affect the camera.
Doesn't affect the camera. So if you got a cracked screen, you're ready. You got a camera in your house.
What cracks somebody's screen?
So if you got cracked screens and you got some cameras, all you got to do is figure out how to hold the camera up. And I built a little cardboard box.
Yeah.
And I stuck it in there, and I glued a little stand on it, and buddy, it works like all day long.
I got a few stuffed animals that I can hide it in there.
Stuffed animals. All right, now this is the app. It's called IP Webcam, and it is free. Now they do have a cloud-based service that works with this. So if you don't want to worry about port forwarding, and you want to be able to go to a cloud provider that will go right into your thing it's probably a little bit more secure. You can use, they do have a company that does a cloud service for this camera, for this app. So you install this on it, and this is what it looks like from inside the home. So look at my IP address. Everyone see it? I am looking at what? What am I looking at?
Camera interface.
I'm looking at the web server. I'm looking at this software's web server. All right, that is this. You've got to understand what you're looking at this. Yes? The web server talks to the camera. Okay? So the web server is designed to integrate and connect to the camera, take the video, digitize it, turn it into an HTTP stream. But what I'm looking at here is the web server. Yes?
Yes.
The app itself on the phone. Now, I can do a couple things. Right now, I've got no video, so I could actually go ahead and say, let's do a recording test. And I can go ahead and notice it says it does circular recording, records video chunks in
1 hour.
I could do it in, yes. And what's it going to do when that fills up?
Overwrite.
Overwrites it, yes. So when I run out, so if I want to go ahead and record, I can do a circular record, and it's recording right now. And I'll put my hand in front of the thing so you can see it. And I'll stop. And I can go look at that. I can also, so now let's go look at I'm going to use, listen, I'm using this laptop. I'm going to kick on Flash to view the video. Okay? Or I can use the browser, I can use all the browser capability to look at the camera. I can also use Java, but you have to enable the plugin. The camera must be, listen, if you set up these cameras, you must, what about username and password?
What is Toronto?
Make sure that you have a complicated, because if you don't have a good password, I can look at it through a browser, but before I could have logged on, I had to authenticate to the web server, which I put in a very complex username and a very complex
Password.
not password 01, not admin, yes, yes. Does everyone understand? That's a huge security risk. I can do full screen.
So when your storage space, so if you had a storage card in there, you can shift the storage space over to that card?
You can. You can say photo, you can take a photo. You can save the photo to, notice it in a JPEG. And I can save it to the storage facility. So let's do my Flash, and let's scroll down so you can see the different features. I can zoom in. So I can zoom. See it? Mm-hmm. So I can zoom in, so if someone's coming up to the front door, you can adjust the stream quality. Let me back out the zoom. And I get much better, it's trying to autofocus here. You can preset the focus so that I can also, if it has an LED, you can turn on the LED. I don't think my LED came on. if you have a real good camera, I can autofocus hold so it doesn't try to do that. And so these are just some of the things that you can do with your camera. You can set it up in your house. Now you can do audio. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hear it? Testing 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
Okay. So if you love to hear yourself, okay, so you can set up a flash for your audio as well as your video. So if you want to listen to something that's going on in the house, you can actually do it that way. Now let's go to DDWRT. First thing I had to do was find my WAN IP, yes?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Jose, I want you to open up your browser. And you're going to go to 1029 HTTP 1029.140.135, and you're going to do port. You're going to do port 8080, because here's my port forwarding trigger. Here's my port forwarding table. And I said basically anybody on 1029.128.0. If they come and request to access port 8080, send them to what?
192.168.1.
And send them to what port?
8080.
Okay, so you should be able to,
I'm getting a webcam requires a username and a password.
okay, 2796 IP snooper, and the password is $$.
That's gotta be something. I hope it's not your social security number. Okay, I'm in it now.
Do you see the camera?
I'm in this interface.
All right, so hit flash. How much lag? A little bit of lag. So that's what you would see at home, at work. So you could literally have the front door on your work machine all the time. So you could see if anyone comes up to the front door, or in your house, or you've got construction workers in the house and you just want to keep an eye on them, or dogs, cats, elderly. I wouldn't recommend it for the wife to kill you.
You don't have to know.
Just
She does not have to know.
this is what
She would find out eventually.
She would find out and she would kill you.
They always.
But what do you guys think?
I like it. And if you have more than one, you have to set them up.
So you would have to set up, so let's go do it. First of all, you'd have to go to the webcam software and set the second camera, not at 8080, but 8081. And then you have to go to your port forwarding table, and I'd have to add another one, and I'd have to put in 8081 to the next IP address, 8081, and boom, you could set up as many broken screen, ancient Android cameras, and set them all up and access them.
So if you know you're going to be accessing it from two different networks, you're going to have to put that networks in there as well.
This is just this port forwarding table. This is a strange port forwarding table. I've never seen where you had to give the network. And think about it. Why did they add that? Why did they add the source network IP? And notice what I put in. I didn't put an IP address. I simply put in the network number. I said any IP from the network number of 1029.128 can come in. So you could say, just add a layer of security. Not just any IP that accesses 8080, okay, but any IP that. So this is just another layer because you're opening up your network. If I'm scanning your IP address for 8080, I'm going to find your camera. Then, if you don't have a very good username and password, I'm going to see you in your house. It's that simple. So you really have to think about your security.
Your wife's gonna kill you.
Now, what's a better way? What's a better way?
Just the cloud service, the camera.
Cloud service is one way, or this. This is better.
VPN.
That's the best way. That way you can be anywhere. You can be at a hot spot. You could be at Starbucks, fire up your VPN, go back into your house, look at your camera. You don't ever have to worry about anyone ever getting into your system or ever seeing your internal cameras. So you could do a cloud service, which this particular does supply. So let me show you the actual. Of course, right now I have nothing going except I'm pointing my camera. So here you can see actions. You can see, you can focus, you can stop, you can run it in the background. You can toggle the LED. Notice I had the LED on. Shows you your IP address. Everyone see my IP address? Can you see it there?
Barely.
It shows you.
There.
See it?
Wow.
So when you connect your app up, it shows you right away what your IP address is and your port number. And it also shows me who's connected. Cool?
Yeah.
So you can always go look at it and say, how do I have 5 people connected to my... So all those cracked screen Android phones, the ones you were sitting in the shelf, you can turn in and set them up in your house and use them.